my first game in Northern League football, the man of the match got a fucking sack of Charlie. Do you know what I mean?
That sounds about right.
I was good at that as well, so I was man of the match, you know what I mean?
Mate, even I've been man of the match when you asked getting it back here.
That was an eye-opener. Like.
Sweet, episode 7. Let's have some fun with it. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast, Conor. I know this is obviously first time coming on. First time podcasting as well, isn't it?
First time podcasting. Excited, nervous.
Love that. And welcome back, Alex.
Cheers,
we'll have a bit fun with today's conversation. But if you want to just give us a little bit of a background on your story a little bit, bro. Well, obviously we're going to talk about anything and everything today, but just give us a bit of a rundown of where you're at now, and like just for people who might not know you, people that don't know what you're about, what would you say is like the main thing that you want to tell them?
Well, I'm co-owner of No Limits. I'm a coach down there with Alex, so that's why he's chaperoning us today. My background is professional football. That's where I came from. I went 9 till 21 through the academy at Newcastle, and then kind of went on loan and filtered down the leagues for about 10 years. I played pro, played in the SPL, played in Championship, League 2, Conference, and then when that all finished, I got into the gym with Alex. Probably the best thing I've done, to be honest with you.
Oh, I think it's wicked. I think it stands out. It's different. I've told you guys loads. The community you built up, I think, is second to none.
It's unbelievable, the community.
It really is. I mean, how many people have you got there now? Like in total?
Almost 150 in total.
Love that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure on footballers coming out of your footballing career to like figure shit out, because it's like you've spent so much time of your life just focus on that one sport, and then when the curtains are closed with that sport, it's like, right, I've got to do something now. So
you are chucked into the deep end. Like it's one of them where you know one thing your whole life, and then usually it's quite an abrupt end. Like you're very lucky if you start playing football and you plan your exit. I think personally, like everyone's there from a young age. You get told you're the best thing since sliced bread since you are tiny. You're going to be a professional footballer. So you can, as a kid, you think,
that's your dream.
I'm going to be a professional footballer. I don't need to worry about anything else. And then once you make that, you don't worry about anything else until the curtains close, like you say, and you think, shit, what do I do now?
And was it pretty abrupt for you?
It was and it wasn't. I kind of found myself moving closer and closer to home. Yeah. And if you're in the northeast of England, football, it's massive. People love it up here, but you've got Newcastle, Sunderland, Middlesbrough, then you've got a few little lower league. You had Gateshead, Darlows, Hartlepool. So like when you're down London, you can chuck a blanket on probably 50, 60 clubs. Up here, there's not a whole lot. Yeah. So like I needed to get back home for family reasons when it came to it. And then when the end came, it was like there's no more, kind of use all my options around here. I was at Hartlepool at the time. And I finished and I went straight into like, shit, get a job mode. Wrote my first CV at 29 or something. Do you know what I mean?
Is it part of the dressing room conversation, like what's everyone going to do, like come to what, or is it just such a big focus on the actual, like your actual career?
There's a few people who you can see, the ones who are always going to go and stay within like the football space. So you think coaches, maybe managers, they'll go and sort out the kids, they'll want to do that, do this, maybe agent work. But it was never my thing. Didn't really enjoy myself after a certain point in my career. And it just became a job. Like from the age of like 25, I'd say I was out of love with football completely. It was you go to training, you'd play on the weekends, and that was your bread and butter, but it was never like I love this, I love it.
See, and that's crazy in a way, isn't it? Because you think people look at, like you say, young kids, they'd be like, that's my dream to play.
It always was, mate. Yeah. It was. It's every young kid's dream, like going playing for their hometown club in front of 50,000 people. And like everyone who's at that level, like me and him, like you're just told you're the best thing since sliced bread, don't you? Like you are going to play for Newcastle United. You're going to be fantastic. And like you say, like, does everyone kind of plan their route? You have like a bit of education when you're playing in the academies and stuff, but they mean well, but you've got probably 20 lads who they don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like little, probably mollycoddled prima donnas who, I don't need this, I'm going to play professional football for 10 years, I'm going to be a millionaire. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not in their mind frame. Like, they don't think like that. Probably should. There's probably a lot of work to be done. And it's better now, but I don't think it was all that good when, 10, 15 years ago when I was...
Yeah.
What, as in like people coming away and doing other stuff?
No, I mean like we always got education when we were there. You know what I mean? We had like, it was compulsory schooling when you were at the academy, but it was always like, it was a sports-based course, and you had tutors there, and you could just tell they were like fighting a losing battle. Do you know
I can imagine, mate. Yeah,
they're in a classroom with 15
so everyone's
kids.
like really distracted.
And all their mindset is,
mate,
we're going to be professional footballers, why do we need
fuck
this?
this, I don't need to learn anything.
So most years don't really take that serious at that point.
I don't think so. Not at 18. Not when you've been told your whole life that you're going to be a professional footballer. Then you get chucked into a professional football environment, and people go, "Should we do some education on what happens after?" People are like, "Nah."
See, I think though, like, and I imagine you'll be pretty humble about this, but you went from football career not working out to building a really successful gym business with Alex. What was that process? Because you could have easily not gone down a good route. Like I know a lot of people did.
No, like football's professional sport. There's loads of mad statistics. Like by the time people retire, within 5 years they're bankrupt.
Yeah.
And like there's loads. Obviously, don't quote us on that, but there is some crazy numbers about it. And I kind of fell into it really with you. I trained with them when my football career kind of broke down, and I found personally that the structure and everything that came with football, I knew that I woke up at 7 o'clock. I had a walk with the dogs. I had breakfast. I went to football. I pissed in a cup because you had to be hydrated. So you were hydrated, and then you'd train in the gym for 45 minutes, and then you'd have breakfast, and then you'd be on the training field, and then you were back for dinner, and then you were back out, and it was just structure. Do you know what I mean? It was for someone who's, I don't know, maybe, especially young lads, it's good for them. It's brilliant for them actually. And you know what you're doing. It's
like routine.
Routine's massive, mate. Absolutely massive. And then you fall out of a game which has given you everything, and you think, shit, what do I do?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what kind of drew us back in, because it was exercise, it was structure, and it was kind of like
made sense.
It made perfect sense. It was like, and I was telling you about this. I tried my hand at your job for a little bit. Was fucking terrible at it.
Yeah,
but
it's brutal.
Going from a football environment to that, I was like, I'm out my depth here. Rejection all day. Like, I've stopped training because I'm not doing it. I need to make money. It was just like, it was a hard time, but I'm glad that I figured out what I thought I needed. And I think, looking back in hindsight, it was what I needed. I needed structure.
Yeah.
I needed to be training every day. Like, I know that I'm up 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Training 6 till 9. I know that then I'll get me food, and then it gives me day structure. And when I didn't have that, it felt like my life was slowly falling apart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mate, I can imagine. I mean, I think, because I know you had some pretty big high points during your football career.
Aye.
Well, go on then, talk about the biggest one before I ask the question, because it's going to come up at some point, so go on.
Jimmy, can you... No, I was lucky enough to, I was at Newcastle as a kid.
Yeah.
9 through till 21. Like, played with some fantastic players. Like, I meant well, I tried very hard, I was a grafter, probably not overly talented. I made an alright career out of it, but I was never going to, like, set the world on fire, you know what I mean? But I was lucky enough to go on loan when I went to Scotland, and I was in a group that was just like, you can tell they were made, at that particular point, it was made to do something good. Like, they had a lot of young kids who were coming through who went on to massive things. Yeah. And there was like a few older heads there who were brilliant. And I remember walking in that change room thinking, I hope they're all like this. Yeah. It's fucking brilliant. Like, just nice people, great footballers. And I was lucky enough to, we played in the Scottish League Cup semi-final on like my first game. So that's not me, by the way.
That's the wrong one, That's the wrong one, that, mate.
What's your one?
You found a new improved Conor. Get him, I'll be him. We've been better looking than me anyway.
How do you spell yours?
But what was the and then
C-O-N-O-R.
so what,
Hey.
and what was the goal? Because this is the one. This is the first thing I heard about you.
Don't say things like that because people think that I shout about it.
That you didn't, but other people did.
The first game was a semi-final, and then
Yeah.
lucky enough to play in the final at Hampden Park. And there was, I think we had 40,000 people there or something.
That's sick. That.
And as like a 21-year-old, it was my first taste of first team football. Like I was always in an academy. You'll know this. You know this. Like it's a little bit different. And I was lucky enough to go up there when the semi-final was happening. We got through at the final against Hearts and we beat them. Like
That's sick. That.
I'm there somewhere. Like
Hey, mate,
There you
look,
go.
This one. Brendan. Oh, that one there at the bottom. Oh, I got you.
is he on the thing?
You know what it is, yeah? So I'm trying to hold the camera and
See, we were talking about 2CB before. You've been on that. Yeah. Thought you were a church boy.
I'm sober as fuck right now, lads.
That's like, that looks like.
Cool.
So, but I think what I was getting from is did you chase that high afterwards? Or like, how did you, because that's the thing that I think I would struggle. I mean, I'm an addict, so that's how I would struggle with that, is how do you go from having those moments to then,
Recreating them.
yeah.
I like when I didn't have it.
Yeah.
Like I did start to delve off track a little bit.
Yeah.
Like he'll tell you, we had some funny old moments, didn't we? Like you can just tell that if we'd have carried on the way we were going, the wheels were falling off. Like, especially. He's got some new alloys on now. He's flying.
100%, they're good.
But no, I mean, you try and find like that dopamine, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
like the best feeling in the world was like coming off the pitch after 90 minutes.
I bet.
Unbelievable. Like people shouting, a few people. It wasn't fucking 5 or 6 blokes and that dog in the corner. But no, like you miss it.
Yeah.
You miss. I miss changing rooms. But I look back and I think, well, I was a bit of a class clown. Like I wish I'd knuckled down a little bit. Like I never took me training as seriously as I do now when I was a professional athlete.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I remember starting this kind of stuff and I feel 10 times better.
Yeah.
But no, I think you do search for that. What you're missing.
That's what I mean.
Yourself when you take something away, you've got to fill it with something.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I mean. Like that high you must get from that to then, because obviously our roots were they were more obvious. Like we went down full on recreational drugs, abusing that. Like that was ours. And then, but I mean, in a lot of ways, you seem to have stayed sort of clear from that to a point.
I was bad at a point. I went through a bit of a tough time when I finished football. I got checked out of football, relationships breaking down. I had a young daughter, so it was like, do you go and play still? Like I said about football clubs being not in abundance up here. It was you can go down there and you can play, but you'll miss out on a few years of your daughter growing up. And it was a big juggling act. Yeah. And I stayed up here. My old man tells us I was wrong to do it all the time. Oh yeah, he's like, you're a long time retired, son. Like, what's the point in stopping now? You're 28. But it was more just, at the time, I think I needed it. Yeah. I think I needed to be home. And in hindsight, it probably done us more harm than good, to be honest with you. Because all of a sudden you get chucked into like a local football and getting a job. And like Northern League football's the worst place in the world if you've got... It is. You know yourself. It's like... My first game in Northern League football, the man of the match got a fucking sack of Charlie. Do you know what I mean?
That sounds about right.
I was good at that as well, so I was man of the match, you know what I mean?
Even I've been man of the match when you asked getting it back here.
That was an eye-opener. Like. But no, it's one of them. Yes, you search for what you're missing.
Yeah.
Like you say, it's trying to find it in the right places. See, I'd run ultra marathons now because this man's got us doing it. And I lift weights and I'll go and sit in a sauna and I'll put myself in the cold plunge and you're just trying to recreate all these highs that you.
What was it you did there? Was that the 50k or the 50 mile one?
I done 50k. You'd been asking us for about a year and a half. And I was like, I'm not running 50k, no chance. I wouldn't pick you up if you're 50k away and you asked us to come and drive. Fucking no chance. But it got to the point where there's that many people from the gym doing it. I think we had a group of 12, didn't we?
It was sick. It was wicked. Yeah.
You've
seen the videos from
you
this?
talk about, man.
I've seen some clips.
There was about 10 of us, and that
is that the clip from it?
There's a few pictures
in
in
there.
there.
Doing it, and then I was in Greece at the time, and I had this phone call, and I was driving. And I was like, fuck's this? Answered. The guy said I've freed up 3 spots, but I only needed 2. So then I rang Conor. I was like, I've managed to like get you a spot, and just like made up as if I'd done it for him. And he was like, I was like, right, I'm in.
I was like, go on.
It was a good day.
It was a good day. And he done 150k, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Maniac,
He's off it, mate. Off it.
And he beat me across the 50k.
Really?
Yeah, so you don't. I was.
There is something about running though that just kind of like brings the best out of everyone.
Yeah.
1,000,000%. It's like it's just a little bit of escapism, isn't it? Like, if you run to a point where all you can think about is stopping to run, takes your head from elsewhere.
I think there's a lot of it is this, at least for me, the suffering as well.
Yeah,
like
mum and dad there.
Right. Like there's something to say about the suffering.
It's what Forrest Gump did, isn't it?
What? Just kept going.
Just keep on running.
Yeah.
Just keep
Didn't
on
you
running.
Didn't you run some of it barefoot?
Just in the barefoot shoes, not actually barefoot.
All right.
Like the Vivo barefoots.
All right.
But just me ankles and knees were absolutely hammered. You know,
Have you recovered yet?
I've still got like it's not an injury, but it just hurts a little bit on my ankle. Just hasn't recovered. Like it's fine, but still, my left ankle is a bit like off the impact. But it's all of the bumps. So it's just like nice smooth ground. It was through like cow fields and different terrain, and it was
a great day though, wasn't it?
Oh man,
It was wicked. I'll do it next year.
You might do this.
I've said it now. I've said it now.
Where did you do it? Where was it?
That clipped.
Yeah.
That race was Pilgrims Ultra. It was
It's a Holy Island to
wherever you go.
It was beautiful though. Like what a scenic route. It was class.
Really
Mate, you say about like people there, like when you talk to people, hey mate, like how are you getting on? This is brilliant, class. It's like fucking love it, and they're like all loads of rugby fanatics, and they're like it's like a bit of adversity.
Yeah,
it is. Like you need some hardship.
Oh, 100%.
Because
100%.
It's one of them things where the feeling that you get there is probably similar to the feeling you get when you do the nasty stuff.
I think in a lot of ways that's the feeling you get off this. In most ways, is that it's better, and like the rush you get.
Yeah,
I was saying to you, without a doubt, every session in your gym, there's a moment where my pupils go, and I'm smiling, and it tends to be when it's at the toughest point. But that's what I love about it, you know, and it is
100%. It's like you can either you can go down the easy route and you can get it. You can get it from wherever you want to get it, or you can do something which is reasonably difficult, whether that's submerging yourself in cold water for X amount of time, or sitting in the hot box, or running 50-mile leg. Yeah, I think you definitely get the same effects.
You feel like, well, I do anyway. You feel a bit like proud of you, or just like a bit of accomplishment for like a day or two.
Yeah. I think running's for the mind, isn't it? Running's for the mind. Strength training's like, that's for my body. I want to feel strong. But if you're going for a run, it's like the mentality is, I'm doing this for my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. It's a great tool as well. Like you can, if you start your day with movement, just say you jumped up every day and done 10k, you're starting the day better, aren't you? Like you say, there'll be a point where you're clear. Yeah. You've got some movement and you're awake.
You only really fight, I do. Like, you only get peace from suffering. Not everyone's like that, but everyone would get peace if you suffer. But if you it has to be like
intentional,
self-inflicted, not like fucking burning yourself or something.
Yeah. No, but I agree with that. I think what I'm realizing anyway is when it's, we spoke on one of the first episode, I think, about purpose, and I think when you start to find some degree of purpose, but also when it comes to being happy, I think you've got, for me at least, I've got to go through that suffering. I've got to push myself, because then you enjoy those times more.
100%.
Like, at least that's the way it is for me.
Schedule suffering, mate. I think you need it daily. Like, need some shit daily.
Well, there's some science behind that training in the morning. Training in the morning, it does something. It sets your day up. I don't know what the science is, but I've read something about it.
Probably just the endorphin release you get.
Yeah.
But even like just lifting weights helps with the like simple things, like, well, not simple, but like anxiety. You never do something and feel worse from it. Do you know what I mean? But I just have more clarity. And get myself into the right moods. And it's just something, I'm hungry or just haven't trained, but or bored.
There'll be times in the gym and I'm like, kid, trying to do this? And I'll look at him, I'll be like, fuck, he's either hungry or he needs to move. I'm like, want some oats? He's like, yeah, like champion. So I'll just feed him, that'll keep him happy for a bit.
So the question is, how the fuck do we have an obesity pandemic? Because this is so many positives that people take from like cardio, running, strength training.
Calories are cheap, aren't they?
It's also because people think that they're going to get motivated to do it one day. But it just doesn't happen, does it? You only get motivation from doing it when you don't feel like it. That's what I feel like. So then
showing up for yourself every day.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
And people think, I don't know, they just eat terribly, don't they?
It's mad, like you see people. It's probably not a nice thing to say, like, but you'll be walking along the street and you'll see somebody who's horribly out of shape.
Yeah.
Cleaning their car 3 times a week. I'm like, no, you can care for something like that's material, but like, what about yourself? Like,
that's so true.
It's mad how much people don't care about themselves, mate. It's absolutely mental.
Yeah, I've got a friend who I was saying to them, you should get yourself to the gym. She said, I can't afford that, but she's gone to Turkey 3 times this year to have different surgeries, but she can't afford to go to the gym. It's like,
that is a comeback now and again. I get it. Like, things are expensive, but go and pay 30 quid for a gym membership. Like, what money's
you pay
more wasted?
for a
You know what I mean? Like,
membership.
the 30 quid that you never actually attend the gym with. Or,
Do you think it's a problem that'll ever be solved though?
No.
I don't think it will.
I think it's down to the human psyche. I think, like, because what you were saying, right, about you sort of waiting for the motivation. I did that for 10 years. I was waiting for someone to come along, and there was at times when it was this guy, and I thought he was just going to drag me through it, but he wouldn't, because no one can drag you through it. You got to do it yourself.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but calories are cheap.
Yeah.
Education's not really there. People don't really want to work that hard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you can go out and do it yourself, fair play to you. Like, I struggle myself. I like to think that I'm reasonably well educated in the gym, quite motivated. But I'll walk into a gym sometimes like, I can't be asked to do this. Or I'll look and I'll go, well, I plan on doing that. That machine's full, so I'm just gonna. You know what I mean? You kind of take yourself off and do other things.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm like that, I think my clients they need like
100%.
me and him ringing them, going, right, where were you the last 2 days? Come on, you're back in. And it does it.
Without a doubt.
Biggest excuse for like people who are wanting to start, like they know they should be doing it, but there's like the thing of an excuse. It's always like time and money. But if you say like, right, get your phone out, like right now, have a look how much time you spent on social media. Straight away they would look at it and then they wouldn't be able to use that anymore. And then they'd say, well, I can't afford it then. And then you would say, right, how many times did you go out for food a month, or how many times you go out on the drink, how many times you spend on clothes, this, to go, I spend. Total it up, and you go, right, well, can you stop doing that to do this?
Yeah.
Or just pay for both? And then once they're in the gym, with us anyway, they love it. Like, they stay for years. And it's just breaking down that barrier. Like, you need to be able to value this.
See it as a priority.
You need to see it, like, prioritise
Yourself, be very value. Like,
Why do you think people don't see it as a priority?
Because
it's
gym
not anymore.
memberships were so cheap, weren't they?
It's not just that. Like, you walk down the street, like, can you see the state of the general population nowadays?
I was thinking of a different angle there. I thought you meant like I was just on about our business. Like, obviously it's a different price point when you're paying for someone to train you. But the problem, because gym memberships in the past has been a race to the bottom. Like, if you can go yourself and you can motivate yourself, or just go and do it regardless, like, that's fine. But there's a large amount of people who have a gym membership and never go, so they need like a coach or someone to like tell them what to do, hold them accountable, and they can't bring themselves to or justify paying that jump up in price. Do you know what I mean?
From a membership to a coach.
But they don't realise it's totally different. Like, because one,
Well,
you
I
use
used
it, another
to-
one you don't.
I used to think of it as like, say we're done a social experiment, everyone just started hopping in cars and started driving without doing a theory, without having a driving instructor. It's like, what would happen? It'd be fucking chaos. But it's like, when you go to the gym, learning how to train hard, like physically, to train hard, that's a skill. That's a life skill.
That's a massive skill, by
It's
the
a
way.
life skill
Yeah,
that'll
100%.
serve you forever.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, hiring a coach is no different to like
100%.
having a driving instructor. It's like
but
you're
it
learning a
also-
life skill.
That hard work transfers into every part of your life.
Aye, it
Do
does,
you know what I
aye.
mean? Because
Exactly.
not that many people try that hard. Ones that realise, like, you see someone come to the gym, they pick them up, we're going to go for about 10 reps, you get a 10, you can push them to 25, and they're like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
I've never done that with them before, and it's like, because they stop before it gets hard. Most people don't.
A lot of people do, don't they? A lot
No,
of people.
you're right with that. Like, it's it's the discipline. But like, just for everyone listening as well, the 3 guys on this podcast, other than me, they all coach me in some degree, and that is the key. Like, but it gives you, for me, it gives me confidence. But also now I can go to the gym. I'll go do 2 sessions on my own during the week, and I know what I'm doing. But that I wouldn't have got that confidence had it not been for you guys training me and showing me, because that always used to be my thing. I go into the gym and I wouldn't feel comfortable because I didn't fully know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So through training with you guys,
I think people,
There's a massive stigma attached to walking into a space where you're not fully comfortable.
Yeah,
like people are like a rabbit in the headlights on there. Like they value that. Listen, come on, this is what we want to do today, and Alex is going to show you this, and then we're going to show you this, and then after that we'll talk about nutrition, and this is what you should be doing to fuel your body. Like people go,
yeah,
that's loads. That's a big weight off my shoulders.
Oh, mate, without a doubt, because it takes away. It does a lot of things. One is it takes away the stigma, because I think for me at least, if I hadn't,
that's another excuse that people use though, because like, you could literally say to yourself, I'll only go to the gym when the conditions are perfect. It's a quiet gym.
Of course it is.
There's barely anyone in there. It's like you're putting so many things in front of you and actually just doing what you need to do. But
mate,
I
the reality
understand
is it's not easy for people to. Yeah. That's why coaches are there.
People are riddled with like social anxiety when they go in those environments as well.
Place, a gym as well. But you forget how like emotional the place is until you like you coach people and you see. People will come down. Some people will be there because their day has been shit. Do you know what I mean? Like we know ourselves that we need to train to get like over that kind of stuff. People will come in and like amount of people you don't want to go outside because they're crying. I'm like, well, like it's like an outpouring of emotion. Like, but it's one of them things, isn't it?
Yeah,
channeling it into
everyone learns how to train though at some point. And no one just walks into a gym. So if you don't know what to do, then you should just pay someone. Like I learned through having other coaches from being like 9 in the gym at Newcastle. We had like a strength and condition coach from like 9 to 16. Then I had a different one there, different one there, different one, like 4 different ones. And I was asked loads of questions and learn. So everyone has to go through that. No one just like knows how to walk in and do a perfect like deadlift or know what exercises should even be doing. Should they even do a deadlift or do you know what I mean? So
well, it's a genuine skill. That's why I think if you go at it and you try to master everything, it's like it's fucking hard. If I didn't know anything about training or I didn't know anything about nutrition or my mindset was fucked, each one of those areas is a fucking rabbit hole. So it's like there's so much to figure out on your own. You're kind of setting yourself up for failure if you haven't got a clue. But
sorry, mate. It goes back to what you were saying before as well. No one wants to start anything until it's perfect. No one wants to like jump in until they've got everything they think is right. And if you like say nutrition, you know nothing about nutrition. You Google what the right things to eat. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like it's a fucking. People tell you this is good for you, this is going to kill you, this is great for you, this is terrible for you. Don't drink raw milk because that'll kill you. But like, you know what I mean? Like loads of different stuff. You think
most coaches spend most of their time reminding their clients of very basic fundamental things
100%
that are gonna like actually move the needle. But for most coaches, the questions that they actually receive from their clients and things like that, it tends to be stuff that's got nothing to do with like the basic stuff, like the fundamentals. Like you say you taught somebody everything that you could teach them about nutrition, they might then go away and ask you a question about like I don't know, like a Rice Krispies bars, like can I have it, can I not? It's like, well, if you get to a point where you can answer that question for yourself without needing your coach to tell you whether you can or can't have it, then you've mastered nutrition, because then that's intuitive eating. You know what I mean? So you can sustain that for a lifetime. But
that I agree with, because I think, but you have to get to that point, and I think that's the whole thing. Is like for me, all I know is I couldn't get to I feel now my nutrition's a lot better. My how I train is getting and has got a lot better. You know, I remember in my first session when you had me doing some form of squats. I remember you looking at me going, "Have you broke your legs before?" Because I just couldn't move my legs properly because I'd never really trained, and I was like a month out of rehab. So to like where I've come along, but
You had, hadn't you?
Yeah. I had.
legs and your
But
soul.
mate, in that moment, even if I hadn't, I'd have said I had. There's no way I'm going now. I'm just knackered. Aye, but well, now what the point you're saying is, I think you get to that point, but you need, for me, anyone who gets to that point on their own, like that's seriously impressive.
Yeah, very impressive.
Do you know what I think? When I get asked questions like that, right? Oh, can I have like is apples or oranges better, or can I have like this on me on whatever it is? I'm like, what are you really doing? Like, because like eating the fruit or whatever, that's not the problem. It's like you're fucking just eating whatever you want all day.
They hear the voice, don't they?
They're just like they pretend it's all these little things and
shiny object syndrome.
It's just like telling themselves a massive story and lying. It's like
No, but you're right with that though, isn't it?
And we have to remind people just the little things, like you said. Just drink more water, walk more instead of sitting down all day. Like have a couple of meals around.
It is
with
mental
some
though when you think
vegetables
about
or
it, like
simple
public
things I don't know,
health. Like, do you not think it's a bit mental? Like public health, how there'll never actually be a solution to it.
What do you mean?
Like,
Daps,
as in,
can you get Bobby Kennedy up? It's a good segue.
It might be this country as well, because I've been to like Australia.
that's what I'm
in the
thinking.
morning,
Like, is
right?
it just a UK thing? Like,
Well,
is it a
Country by
cultural
country.
thing?
over in Australia, there's people at like 6 a.m. It's the beaches flooded. Everyone's exercising.
Well, maybe it's
You know what I mean?
no,
But-
yeah.
And we're eating bowls of sugar.
Yeah, that's
so-
it. There it is. That's it.
Yeah, you got it.
To
any Rice Krispies?
no, not on the vaccines. We don't want to go into that, but on health. So Bobby Kennedy health.
Yeah, so a lot of people are excited about Trump winning because this is actually one of his.
Are we doing politics?
No. Wait a second.
No,
We
this-
haven't got to go into it, but this is the guy I was talking about. This guy, so you're talking about in the UK.
So no, it actually links, right? Because basically people are talking about Trump and winning and all that stuff, but one of his close affiliates right now is RFK, and his whole thing is like, let's sort this shit out with public health.
Make
So
America
like
healthy again.
was it the FDA? The FDA. So like I suppose they're kind of like an organization that kind of like watches what gets put in our food and what's allowed and what's not allowed.
Yeah, that's more the point. They say what's allowed and what's not allowed.
But basically, he's like, right, let's go to the root of this. Let's go to the core and figure out what's bullshit and what's not. And when he's done that, bro, mad shit that we've just normalized, like as a society, that's actually just built on lies. So,
Go on, carry on.
No, go on.
No, I know what you're saying, but like,
so obviously people are saying that's a positive thing because he's now kind of like unraveling a lot of these lies, and like now the information's more well, people can actually do something with the information, but
They can, but they probably won't.
they definitely won't know that.
Do you know what I mean? That's the point.
You're talking about going like GMOs out of crops and
Yeah.
all this stuff out. Like, let's start by not putting 4,000 calories down your neck. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
moving more, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You go,
Yeah,
see what's in
yeah.
my crops first.
Yeah.
Like, let's start moving your feet.
Yeah,
and
because
stop this.
even when they've put all the calories on things, it doesn't stop people.
Fuck.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I used to be the worst for this. Like, you know, you worked where I worked for a bit. You know that tuck shop. Mate, I go through 3,000 calories at that tuck shop a day. Like, honestly, just crisp chocolate
Easy,
bars.
isn't it?
Like, so easy.
Easy.
But then when I started training with you guys, and you were like, yeah, eat this amount, and it blew my mind the difference in just nutrient dense food. So I was probably eating. It looked like more volume, but it was better food.
Oh, well, it will be more volume, won't it?
Yeah.
Like, if
It
you
was.
put them 3,000 calories
Yeah,
of
yeah.
sweets and then put your...
Exactly. Yeah, but that's I think
yeah,
that's
like when someone's shredded, you always assume they're eating loads of food because how big they are, but they actually eat a lot less because of how nutrient dense their meals are.
well. So am I right with thinking it's just because you burn more of the calories from nutrient dense food, or what? How does that specifically? So nutrient. So my logic or how I see it is the diet you given me is about. I think it's around 2,600 calories a day. Well, that's around my maintenance point when I'm training. But that is, it might be, so that's higher volume of food, but it's nutrient dense, which means I'm going to burn more of it, burn more of the calories from it, no?
It basically just means like
more from your food, mate.
if you,
Alright. Is that it?
much, aye.
Yeah. It's all serving a
it's,
purpose.
You know, like other foods, I think of like
yeah.
just chocolate and sweets, and they've got
Wasted calories.
no nutritional value. So
Yeah.
it'll be just like sugar.
Yeah.
Maybe some.
It's just
fats.
literally, it's just how it converts into energy. So if you're eating a load of shit, it'll go in and it'll give you a bit of energy. But the more nutrient dense the food items that you're consuming actually are, how that converts into energy is completely different to all this shitty food.
It is,
that,
and you get full, and you also have a lot of nutrients that are going to help you build muscle and recover, and micronutrients, and fibre, and things like that. And you don't get the blood sugar spike. So if you had like a bag of Haribos, you might have had 500 calories, for example. Blood sugars go up, come crashing down. You feel hungry again, but you want to eat again. Whereas if you had 500 calories from like some other healthy meal, like let's just go like a generic, like the chicken, rice, and or sweet potato and some green veg, then you're going to be full. Like an hour later, you're not going to have that spike. You're going to, what the calories are made up of are going to be a lot different. Like it's not just going to be sugar and fat. You're going to get some protein, some fiber, some complex carbs, and some micronutrients. So literally totally different.
He has a good analogy for you.
Go on.
Done this one a long time. Your sweeties, it's like chucking some A4 paper onto a fire, and you get a big spike, and there's lots of flames, and then you think, shit, the paper's gone. Whereas your more nutrient dense meal will be putting a log on there, and it's going to burn slower for longer. And
that makes sense.
So that's why people end up eating more food, because they eat shit. It doesn't really fill you. Yeah. And then hour later, 2 hours later, you feel hungry again. But then that's when people get like also skinny fat as well. Like if they start training with a poor diet, they're not really getting any nutrients, so they can't really build any muscle, and they just get a smaller version of them. If you're in a calorie deficit but eating terrible food, you get just like a smaller version, but you kind of still have fat. Do you know what I mean?
You've also not solved any problem, because if it's like refined sugar, trans fats, processed food, you've actually solved nothing, because that will, you just increased your risk of heart disease. So do you know what I mean? You're not actually solving any problem, you're just masking it.
I do think that's like one of the hardest parts though of training, is like, because the diet is everything, isn't it? The nutrition. Massive, it's so important. And like for me, the only way I could do it was I have to meal prep. I have to have all my meals ready for the week to eliminate the chance of me going off.
Do you feel good for it though?
Oh mate, I feel amazing.
I feel fucking fantastic meal prepping.
Mate. Oh yeah, mate. When it's all there, when it's all done.
I feel like I've just won a life.
Yeah, I look at my fridge and it's all prepped. It's like fucking,
I'm the bollocks, mate.
Yeah. 100%.
Do well for the week.
All those things I think compound, and it does. It's undoubtedly a better way to live, and it doesn't require that much. Like when you get into a routine from it, I don't think it's that difficult to do it consistently. But it is little things you need to consistently do, which is probably why a lot of people don't do it, because it's easier to not.
Aye. You know what it is, everyone knows that there's got to be a point in their life where they've got to start. Like, like what you're just going to get old and shit and fat. Because you are. Like, do you know what I mean? If you just say, I'm not training, I'm just going to eat what I want. And it's like, it's one of them. There's got to be a turn point for you where you go,
enough's enough.
Fuck me, I can't even run around with my kids anymore. Or like, we get a lot of it. We get people come in and be like, I'm starting to slow down with my grandkids. Like, you know, Davey?
Yeah.
Davey's the man, isn't he?
He
came in 54. Never trained a day in his life, really. And he was just like, I want to start now. I was like, well, let's go. And like within 5 months, the guy's like
crazy.
Like
Never trained
7 miles together yesterday, and we were absolutely bombing down this hill. And I was like,
just do a half marathon.
So
he trains twice a day.
It's wicked,
mint. And then the stuff that makes it tangible is class as well. Like getting people on an in-body machine and saying like, right, this is what you weigh. This is your muscle masses. Because scale weight can be a bit of a bad one, can't it? Like you're saying before about just say you came in and you said, I want to get in better shape. You jump on the scales, and then all of a sudden you might be a kilo heavier, and you're like, this is shit, I'm putting on weight. Your fat contents came down, you probably dropped 5 kilos in fat and gained 6 kilos of muscle, and all of a sudden you're a little bit heavier. Like,
so that's an interesting one, because people are split down the middle with this, because there's a lot of coaches, a lot of bodybuilders, a lot of athletes, they'll be like, no, you've got to do it. Whereas others...
We're not trying to train bodybuilders though. Do you know what I mean? If you want to be a bodybuilder, that's fair enough. Like, we're trying to train the general population to be a whole lot healthier and a whole lot fitter and a whole lot stronger. Like, if you want to go and prep for a competition, that sounds...
But it's also a very key metric that people love to lie about.
We're talking about weight here.
It's gradually increasing, and they'll come up with, like you were saying earlier, a bunch of lies to convince themselves that things aren't getting worse.
Scale weight shit for me. Like, we've got girls in our gym who come in and...
I was going to say, does it affect women?
Massively, because if they were on scales and they train for 3 months with us and then they jump back on the scales, they this place is crap, I haven't lost any weight.
Yeah.
But like, you could look at how they're looking and how they're feeling, how they're performing, and they might have 7 kilo less of fat and 8 kilo more of muscle. Do you know what I mean? Like loads of stuff's changed there. Just the one number that they've looked at hasn't changed, and that affects their head.
Yeah.
People have like kind of like the wrong understanding of what it's there for, basically.
Aye, absolutely.
Do you not feel like it's more important to address that though? Like people's understanding of it? Because I get what you mean. People freak out. People literally look at the number on the scales, and if it's not went down like a pound or two, they like shit themselves and
We have
panic.
that every day. We'll have people coming in for weigh-ins, and it's like, it's taking them, like, it's, the app is fantastic, to be fair, because it gives us an opportunity to say, listen, this is what you think went wrong, but really this is what went right. Like, you think this is a bad thing, when in actual fact, because we look a little bit deeper, you've made progress.
There was actually a girl the other day who was like just in a bad mood with that progress, and I was like, why are you disappointed? It was like 2 or 3 months in, and she was actually 5.5 kilo of fat down, but she's, I've only lost 2 kilo though. I was like, I know, but like that doesn't matter. I was like, and I had to go like explain how your muscle mass can increase. You've drank more water, hydration goes up, and your body fats went down, which is way more important than just losing weight. Because the worst thing in the world is for us if we start to see people's muscle mass go like down, and then usually the body fat doesn't continue to do that, because as you know, your basic metabolic rate starts to decrease as well. So the more muscle you can have is the better. But obviously girls, especially women especially, are so brainwashed into thinking I need to lose weight, and it takes sometimes weeks to like get them past that little hurdle and say till they accept, oh no, I'm actually making progress.
You see, I'm like, if we can make you, give you body of your dreams, but you're 19 stone, would you take it? Kind of like, aye, go on then. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, weight, what does weight mean really? Like, it's how you're performing, how you're feeling, like how you look if you're there for aesthetics. But I've trained girls when they've been 6 months later, they're a kilo heavier. And if they didn't have the in-body results and it was just scale weight, they'd say they wouldn't.
It's a mental thing though, isn't it? I mean,
I think it's a bit of a time thing as well though, because if someone was, say you lost a pound and you were like, oh, that's shit that I've only lost a pound. But if you actually like were hardwired from day one to celebrate that,
Oh no, yeah, 100%.
like then it's like, well, how long until like I reach me target body weight? The problem is people feel shit when they've lost a pound because they don't associate that with like a successful transformation, unfortunately. But it actually is. Like if you lost a pound,
yeah, but there's loads, which particularly with women, mate. There's like when I was in rehab, women with eating disorders. I know it's a whole different topic, but it's almost hardwired into them to be a certain way, and all the social media and the way they see things and the way it's portrayed is to get them to understand the concept of your weight might go up, but your body fat's going to go down, but your actual what did you call it? The weight, just
your based on metabolic.
Like that's like
the calories you need to consume.
Yeah. So it's really different, and I mean, for me, I just listen to whatever you guys say. Like that's my mentality.
Like you could stay the exact same weight and look like a completely different person. It's a recomp. It's a body recomposition. The problem is, most people when they start out, they don't have the patience to actually go through a body recomp.
What does that mean?
So basically, say I'm 100 kilo,
yeah,
and then in a year's time, I'm still 100 kilo, but I look like a completely different person.
Yeah.
That would be, generally speaking, you'd say that's a body recomposition, because your body, the ratio between muscle and fat has changed, but your weight
went down, your muscles went up.
Yeah. But your weight has stayed exactly the same. So, but it's like, I could say to that person, don't worry about your weight not changing, because we're doing a body recomposition where you are going to look completely different. But unfortunately, people have that mentality of, right, I need to do as much as I can in a month, in 3 months, in 6 months, rather than saying, well, could I make this like part of my lifestyle? Do you know what I mean? Because then if it's part of my lifestyle, then it's like you said earlier, it doesn't actually matter anymore what weight you're at. But it's...
I know, I get what you're saying. Like for us, like we try to create a place that makes becoming as much as possible
Yeah.
accessible,
Mm-hmm.
because to get good at anything, whether that's podcasts and
Mm-hmm.
getting in shape, you've got to be able to do it
Consistent.
for a long period of time,
Yeah.
And if you can get a place where you're comfortable,
Yeah.
and you can come in and,
Mm-hmm.
and you know the people around there, and you don't feel that stigma, and you can get some good nutrition advice, and you can get some solid programming, and you can go and sauna, and that just becomes part of your life. That's when you get
It's like a hub.
that's when you get the real results, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
you want to try and get someone who's you can condition to be comfortable and continue to do it for a long period of time.
So when you guys started No Limits, is this the vision you had for it? Is this where you thought you'd get to? Or when you originally, what were you...
Now we had a head full of cartoons when we started.
To be honest, like, I don't know what he's gonna say, but for me, I already had a bit of a vision on what I wanted to do, because I'd already been to Australia, and I took a notebook with us. Now I've started visiting gyms and making notes, and like I used to just draw them and things like that. And funny enough, it's actually went how it is now. It's weird.
Really?
But what I wanted to have was like the whole like sauna, the coffee thing, like a warm up area, conditioning, simple gym.
Like we're saying about Joe Rogan's place, and it's a place where you want to spend your time.
That's what you want.
If you want
That hub.
if you're comfortable there, then you're going to spend more time there. And if it's,
Without a doubt.
yeah.
Kind of had I kind of had something going, and then it was like in someone else's gym, it just didn't feel very good. It was just like, I'm getting pushed in the corner. Like this is not like I'm not building anything really here, other than just training some people. So then we kind of just took it. We weren't really sure how it was going to plan out when we got the gym, because it was like, this is really happening. It happened so quick.
It's fucking hilarious.
Like,
When you think about
it was an absolute shithole of a place. Like, terrible.
I've heard stories
And
of how
we-
it was, how you built it up.
Murder,
We would just rock up at like 6, 7 in the morning.
lock the gate because we're locked down. Put the gates in. Then we're
lock the
going.
gate,
We're here all day.
Then we'd go in and we'd just like start tearing the place to pieces.
That's sick, though.
Like,
Not one
doing-
skip, by the way.
We didn't have a skip. I had one of my
Did you
mates.
chuck it all? Don't answer that.
No, we done trips to the tip.
We just stopped his van up, but we're just trying to make it better and better. But we've got a strong vision now.
Yeah. You can see it.
We've been working on that vision. We didn't just get it, but initially it was just like, let's make this into a gym first before we start. Like, and
The place has changed a lot in 3 years as well.
yeah.
For
So
me,
he actually, oh god, he did something to my face on that video.
How old is this?
I've got no idea.
26th of Feb.
That's not even that old. But it's even changed a lot since then, what you guys have done with it.
I quite like that wall behind the wall and knock it down, didn't we? It was a shame.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah.
Maybe we started with like, not much equipment, to be honest, and we're just trying to build and make it better. But ultimately, I think we want a big sauna, ice baths, we've got the outdoor area, the yoga studio, we've got the food prep place. We want to improve the gym all the time. We've got somewhere like a workspace like this upstairs, and it's just like everything you could want. You can do work, you can eat, you can train, you can sauna, yoga.
Because you've got the community. So you've got that, which I think is the hardest part to get. You've got that.
it is
it's
unbelievable, isn't it?
Oh, mate, 100%.
Everyone who comes in is
100%.
like, I can't get my head on it. It's fantastic.
To me, that's so hard to achieve. And you guys have done it.
146
I think I've said it to you countless times. Like, honestly, I think it's because it's completely different demographic. Like, everyone is from different backgrounds. Everyone's
Walks of life, innit?
and everyone just wants to come in and for an hour of their day just push themselves to the max, and everyone pushed each other,
Right.
and it's good.
I have a question about your gym, actually, if you don't mind me interrupting.
Come on, Tabs.
So I was at David Lloyd's with the boys the other day, and an old guy walked into the sauna, and he was talking about David Lloyd's in Newcastle has 8 capacity, and that capacity is
100%.
4,800 people have signed up to use that gym. And I thought that was a lot of people, to be fair, obviously. But it's a big enough gym. So in
It's
terms of
not.
your gym,
It's
is that
cramped.
a question I can ask you? Like, what's your capacity at your gym?
Well, it depends on my next moves, to be honest.
on paper.
On paper, because obviously we're not like a volume gym, we're trying to keep it as personal as possible. But it's like small group training, but everyone's going to get an element of personal training when they come. I would say at the moment with the current setup, it's about 150, to be totally honest, but we're going to remodel it a little bit. It's not a problem now because we've got 6 training days per week. Not everyone comes 6 times per week, so it naturally just like it's fine. But that is a problem we're just coming around to. But it's not a bad problem.
to
It's
have.
a good problem to have, mate.
Very
right?
good problem.
Yeah, you're bang on, like, because there was points when there was fucking worse problems, wasn't there? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not like there's no classes being affected by it. Like there's no sessions. Maybe once now and then, every 2 weeks, it might be like one session. That's a little bit like too busy. But we're gonna just mainly focus on keeping the product and the delivery, not just the same but better. We're gonna make everything better. That's the whole.
I love it.
Just everything better. That's the whole.
But I also feel like people online may want to know like how much it costs to go to your gym. Like, is it just one of those things where they go online to your website and then they pay for it, or like?
We have two membership options really. Like that's it is what it is. We have a more intense 6-week Revive program, which is currently priced at £349, and our recurring membership is £140 per month.
Increasing at 154 actually as of
start
of the year. So
capacity, imagine it's a good problem to have. That we could potentially have a waiting list come January, like, which is
but
nice.
the thing is,
Without a doubt,
we're everyone who joined in January, like a large chunk of them are still here now.
We worked out our retention rate at something like 83% or something, wasn't it?
It's quite a long period of time people stay for once they get in.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We must be doing something right.
No, you are without a doubt. I mean, I think most of the people that the 6. I mean, I do the 6 AM class. I think it's still the same people. No,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah, 100%.
This guy was in 6 weeks. Like, we're not like editing these photos or anything like that. It's just like it's not like unbelievable, but in that period of time,
in 6 weeks, that's pretty
like,
unbelievable.
What's his
I think that's good.
That's 5k on the scale, mate, but
And he wasn't even like that over weight. You know what I mean?
That's a more metabolic human as well. He can probably have more calories during the day without affecting him.
Yeah, I mean, this 6-week thing's mainly for fat loss, and like the guys who are on it now got like a dad, a son, and a friend.
They're a great bunch. Those
They're
guys.
like the average
really sound.
2 of them, according to InBody's, 10.5 kilo of fat down. Muscle mass is either slightly increased or at least maintained, and like that's what that program's for people who are like kind of overweight. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know when like you take that out of it and like the aesthetics part of it? You know what's like for me one of the most probably the best parts of the job? Like you see people just kind of.
Yeah.
Like you see people coming in on the first few days and they're like head down. It's like a 6-foot man walking and he's 5 foot tall. You know what I mean? And then maybe after like 3 months, like people are just this confidence like just oozes out of people, and it's lovely to see. Like
huge, man.
Oh, mate, it's class.
Yeah.
Like people coming in there a bit like, oh, I don't know how to do here, and this is new to us. It's all new, and then like you say about the community, before you know it, everyone's around them. It's like 100 odd people just all driving for the same.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of improvement.
One of the most important parts of my recovery has been training and coming to you guys. It's been having that consistently, having that routine, but you push as well.
Routine, mate.
Routine is the most important thing. I think. But I've got a question for yourself, right, Conor? So I've had businesses in the past, and I've had business partners who either I've let them down or they've let me down. And I know some of the stuff because I've known Alex since the day nine on the day I came out of rehab. So I know a lot of his struggles, and I think that's what to me makes it even more amazing where you guys have come to, because I know some of the struggles and what he's been to. So how was that for you as the business partner going through that?
I mean, like in the early days when it was all going on, it was kind of a little bit surreal, wasn't it? Like we laugh about it now. Some parts and some things that happen. I'm obviously not gonna delve into.
No, you can't. I'm not bothered.
You're not lost.
No.
It got to a point where like every Monday morning, I'd get a phone call and I'd be like, "He's fucking joking. You have to be." Like this like it just got a little bit progressively worse. Like Conor, my face is up at height the day. Like I've fell over. I'm like, look at him, and I'm like, fucking hell, catch you haven't fell over. You've been kicked all over. But he did fall over. The next week it was like, can you pick us up from outside? Yeah, Conor, good morning. I've crashed the car, but can you come pick us up? Aye, no problem. Not from your house. There's a bush about 20 metres down the road. I'm just in there. Pull up to the bush.
Well, he just sat there.
Aye, no, but yeah, listen, mate, like no one's let anyone down. Like there's points where I've let him down at parts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, he's so passionate about it all. Like he takes a lot of the slack. Like he loves it. Like there was times in the past where it got a bit hard. Like when you went away, it was difficult, but it's for the greater good in it. Like we got through 3 years so far, and anyone looking wouldn't look and go, "No, they must have had some problems," because it's flew. Like
That's what I mean.
Done really well.
That's what I mean.
But mate, if I'm being honest with you, I look back and I laugh at most of it.
Yeah.
It's nice
You
that we
have
can.
to.
It's not
You
nice
have
that we
to,
can.
man.
Like there was points where I've still got pictures on there. Some fucking hilarious pictures on there, by the way. Just me and him at points in my life where it was probably.
That's wicked.
It was
That
still a
though,
little
you know?
bit fun, but then like the fun went.
There was a small line between fun and fucking chaos.
That's a great way to put it.
There was a very thin line between this is a good time and then you fucking
But it makes the whole thing. I think it gives it something extra, and I think that's what you can see when you come to your gym every day. Like you can see that it's also because you're so open about it. It's very natural. There's nothing fake, which I think is what people expect when they come to a lot of these more personalized gyms. Is they're expecting it to be a certain.
We get a lot of that feedback. Like it's as open and honest as any place you'll
100%.
find. Like.
I thought that like on my them parts about me, like being honest about it. Like when I first went away to the rehab clinic, I was like, I'm just gonna tell. Like I met him on a Sunday I'm at the pub having a pint. The day before I'm going to rehab, he went, "What are you doing?" I was like,
He was like, "You weren't going though."
I was like, I'm not going.
He's like, "I'm not fucking going.
I didn't mean that, mate.
Shite, no chance." I was like, "Yeah, listen. Even if you didn't, it's probably a good opportunity just to you can have yourself a month chill. You know what I mean? Like,
circuit break.
100%. I was like, even if you think you don't need it, like you're gonna get something positive out of it. I was like, get yourself away.
And I said I was going to a mental health clinic. Really, and I was like, I can't tell people that I'm going there. I was like, what the fuck? I'm meant to be like, have a gym and train people. Like, what they're going to lose all the clients that's going to leave. And they secretly probably would have knew and they were dead support from the start anyway. But then when I went like totally honest about it, there might be some people who think, well, scumbag, I don't know, whatever, who gives a fuck. But like the people who are at the gym were just like even more like
another.
Caring and sound and just like it wasn't a problem. It's if anything, it's been like turning in, not a weakness into a strength, but like it's that
people are inspired by it.
That vulnerability is always like it's like people are drawn to it, aren't they?
100%.
People are drawn to it.
It's hard for it to come out though.
Men
like as
just fucking bottle it all up and tell you that they're fine. Like if you find someone who says that they haven't had any troubles, I'll show you a lie. Like
exactly,
everybody's had it.
You're right.
Did it ever get so bad where you like nearly got sectioned or anything like that? Or did it ever get that bad? For either of yous.
Well, no, I didn't get like.
Probably could have done with that.
I got like been locked up numerous times. I stopped going to Newcastle because I got locked up 3 times in a row going there. But then like section, now just like. What's the team? The crisis team, like that was starting to happen, and I was just like, "What is going on?" Because like I didn't think I was that. I would just be not to me brother. I'd be like, "I'm just wild, man. I'm just wild." Because I'm not like.
Do you know like how substances change people, and some people just change like completely. You were one of them, weren't you? We could go for like, Conor, do you fancy a few pints after this session? We worked long all day. I'd be like, sound, come on, we'll go to Sorella. We'll go for some food and we'd sit and you could just see you changing after 1, after 2, after 3, and I'm sitting there going,
here we go.
I'm not going out with you.
He'd be like, Conor, fancy come down there? And I'm like, no. Fucking absolutely not. And the next morning it was like, I've ruled my ankle, I've spangled 2 kids. Like how?
I mean, that's basically the definition of someone who's an addict and someone who's not. You go, nah, and you go, this is going to be fucking fun. 2 days later.
It's good.
Yeah. I mean, you've had your experiences of that, haven't you?
I mean, not addiction,
not the addiction, but
like
the section.
Yeah, so like
the what? Sorry, the section.
Session. No, not a section.
I've always had the experience of the session.
So I've actually been sectioned on a couple of occasions, and for me, like it's never ever been anything like related to like drugs explicitly, but it's been more. Well,
It's your brain.
yeah, it's your brain. It's your brain and the way that you function. So, so I actually got diagnosed with type 1 bipolar disorder, and it's like it's a weird diagnosis because you feel amazing. So it's mania. It's rooted in mania. So you actually feel electric. You feel on top of life. But they're saying it's dangerous to be there. So it's actually like being told when you're just being yourself, don't be that way. It's too much. It's too intense.
Can you differentiate when it comes
So there's bipolar 1 and there's bipolar 2. And bipolar 2 is when you experience hypomania. So it's like, it's a bit of a high, but it's also mixed with like a depressive episode. But type 1 is where you've experienced like full-blown mania. And it's fucking scary. It's really full on because you can actually, there can be like a psychosis like element to it.
Mate, I remember seeing you. Just
Basically,
before we went
this
in.
is how bad it is. Basically, they say if you're having a manic episode, they give you about 7 days until they section you. So
7 days.
7 days.
That's
So you have
probably a
7.
lot quick on that, like.
Well, it's 7 days until they're
Who
expecting you to
tells them
be.
that you're having this episode though? You have to ring them.
point.
It's actually, to be honest, what you brought up, yeah.
There you go.
Just kicked you there.
What have you put on here? Crackheads. Before or after crack? Well, there's. Well, there you go, Mike. That was your moment there. Cheers, Dabs.
Well, you know what's interesting? You would expect to see a lot of people like that in a hospital. I suppose you do see some smackheads. You see some people who are just like, you know, you'd probably think, oh, this person was probably homeless, and then they ended up in there. But you actually see some really normal young lads and lasses in there, and that's honestly the heartbreaking part of it, because I can remember being in there and actually seeing this young lad, and you just thought there was now wrong with him, like now a matter of him, but he was basically just off the rails anxiety. But then there'd be another person in there, and they'd be like just cutting their wrists every other day, and just very extreme like scenarios. But you're just thrown in there A to Z. You don't know who's in there, young, old, all these different. You don't actually get told what anybody. Say you go to a rehab clinic, you're like, right, everyone in here is an addict. When you go in a mental health ward, if you're on a mental health ward, you don't know who's in there and what.
Is it like you see on the films? Is it like that?
No.
What's it? I don't know. Patch Adams.
So
You seen that?
there was a Mental Health Act. I can't remember when it was, but it changed a lot of things. But honestly, how it's portrayed in the movies and stuff like that is not how it is now. But what I will say is it's actually progressed a lot in a very short space of time, because when I was first sectioned, I got put in a seclusion room. And a seclusion room's a room maybe half a space of this room, and all that's in there is just a mattress. So it's you would just think it's just being in jail. But at that time, in that room, all there was just the mattress and nothing else. So it was literally like when you're in,
because you're in jail for an illness. You know what I mean? It's not like
basically. So it's a mind fuck though, because you're in there and you're kind of like you would think it's how like someone who's been nicked would be treated, but you're actually in there because you're unwell.
How aware are you of your mania? Do you know what I mean? Like, are you aware that you're in an episode, or?
So I think
are you in there against your will? Have you been put in there, like you're staying in there, by the way, this is for your own safety, or is it like, here you go, listen?
I think it was for other people's safety.
No, but do you know what I mean though? Like, are you aware of your mania? Are you put in there?
So generally speaking, you're always going to get a different answer to that question for each person, because for me, I've had to make myself extremely aware of like everything.
You manage it so well now, man.
Well, the first thing that they'll tell you if you have a diagnosis of like bipolar is, you see when we talk about structure and routine and doing shit like by the book, that for most people is like, oh, it's optional. I'll do that if I want.
Yeah.
If I don't do that shit, I'll probably derail quicker and like at such a rapid rate. But I don't need the drugs. Like, I don't need the drugs to derail like that.
Yeah.
So basically, for me, the structure, the routine, doing all this shit that basically just keeps somebody healthy, that for me has to be the norm. Like, I have to do that stuff.
I'm very much like that. Like, my day
But
is
it's
just ticky boxes. Like, and to the point where, like, it's fucking funny to be fair. Like, I'll give myself a little head start by, like, brush your teeth, and I'm like, yes, fucking I'll get in.
Yeah.
But that's why I asked you, like, have you...
I'm like, no, 3-0 Conor already.
That's why I was mind blown when you were telling me some of the stories that you were telling me on the last episode, because I was like, if I did that, I would have got sectioned. That's the only reason why I asked you, is because I was like, I've realized there's a lot of people who do have drugs as the problem.
Who need sectioned. People who need sectioned.
100%.
Well, you literally, I don't think people realize how much of a bullet they're dodging when they don't get sectioned, because my experience of it was fucking life changing. Like, it was proper. Yeah. It was like proper, like it's, you got to think if you go in an environment like that and you're not actually used to being there, it will like suck you in, because everybody in there is unwell, and there is obviously like a staff shortage. So like, if you want things like just normal things, you're being told when to bloody do like everything. So you've got no autonomy in there, basically.
Sometimes that's good, though, isn't it? Like, pure structure is good sometimes.
Just having that all ripped back.
Yeah.
It's a circuit break.
If you need to be in there, you need to be in there. But what blows my mind is the amount of people that are dodging it by like the skin of their teeth, because all it would take is the crisis team to be like, actually, yeah, do you know what I mean? He's a little bit too far gone, boom, sectioned.
There's also a stigma attached to it as well. So like, if people are probably not willing to be sectioned, you know what I mean? Because
we're willing to admit that they got the problem.
Yeah. Like, it's all well and good the crisis team getting a hold of you, but you probably need some kind of self-autonomy.
You have to get to a hopeless point.
Yeah.
No, I've said for so long that I think 3/4 of the population could do with some form of like a month rehab, not just for drugs, but just to have that circuit break from, because how many people do you think are going through life probably not where they want to go? They're in a routine that they're just stuck in, an environment they're just stuck in, and like, all I remember I used to say to myself is, I just need a month. I just need a month just to get myself out of this, and then I'll be able to reset. And that's what rehab gave me. I think so many people could do with that. Do you know what I mean?
I dabbled a bit. I remember being in like positions where I was thinking, this is not great for you, right? You know what I mean? And like, I remember me best mate. So I'd finished playing football, I'd came back, I'd just started a job. It wasn't trying to do anything. Just out of football, so just lost that career. Marriage broke down. And like, looking back, I remember thinking like, you're fucking sound. Yeah, you're absolutely fine. Yeah, there's nothing.
That's wrong. A lot of stuff to happen in a short space of time.
I remember my best mate coming up with us, and I just played a game for Wickham, and he came up with us and he was like, he pulled in the car park, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And he was like, something not right with you. I was like, wait a minute. He was like, I'm telling you now, there's something not right with you. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, there's an envelope. If it's money, he was like, there's some money in there. He was like, I don't want it back. He's like, knock yourself out. And he was like, if it's something else, he was like, there's a number. He was like, it's for a work therapist. He's like, ring her. He's like, it's all paid for. Yeah.
That's mint, that.
Unbelievable, man.
Wow.
Unbelievable. All right. I probably had like 7 to 8 months of talking therapy.
Really? That's brilliant, though, mate. Well done.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
That is well, yeah.
Or like for your mate to kind of recognise it in somebody and go,
that's incredible.
That you need something a little bit different,
And then for you to act on it as well, mate.
I didn't really have a choice. Like, I had to kind of I was there or thereabouts. You know what I mean? I think I needed it in my life.
Was that like in person or did you do it?
No,
like...
it was over the phone. It was back end of COVID.
Yeah.
It was all. I've now noticed. I couldn't even tell you what the woman looks like, and I probably spoke to her for about.
That's funny.
A lot of hours. Like,
Man, I think COVID was so damaging for people's mental health. So damaging.
massively so.
Hugely.
But that's where my ticky boxes came from. That's why I got on that. Like,
To keep yourself
Yeah,
structured.
she was like, "You are the most ADHD person. You just need constant hits of dopamine. So you will be happy if you write everything you're going to do the next day and tick it off. That'll make you a better person." I remember like one of the first things she said it was, and I was like, "Fucking brush teeth."
Yeah.
It'll
I
be-
do it every day.
Do you know,
As soon as I get into work,
it'll
I
be
can't.
so basic stuff. Like for me, it was like writing, like just literally just writing down what I'm thinking, like the most basic thing. But it's what I literally tell like people who are struggling now. Like if you never get to a point where you actually just write down what you're thinking, it has to stay in your head.
You journal a lot, don't you?
It has
That
to
makes me
stay.
feel unwell if I don't write it down.
I-
I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck am I gonna do next? Write it all down. I'm like, that's sort of shit. I'll just do that.
For me, sorry, go on, mate.
No, just that's all. Just it gives us more clarity. If I write it down,
Yeah, that's all.
I just feel my head's all muddled up till I get it down and can look at it.
That's it. Well, you basically said it there. I think it allows me to work out if I'm pissed off or if something's bothering me. It allows me to work out what it is. Because whilst it's in my head, I find it quite difficult to work out what it is. And the emotion that's going to come out is anger as a secondary emotion. So yeah, but I mean, I also do it through, you told me that through the program.
I had the exact same problem when I got diagnosed with bipolar. I didn't know whether or not people were gonna judge the diagnosis or judge your character and your personality. And what I've actually noticed, the more you lot talk about addiction, is actually you lot talk about it as if the addiction is like a disease.
It is.
But the stigma around mental health is like wild. So like when people talk about a diagnosis that they have, they don't see it as a disease. You know what I mean? The kind of take that person's character, their personality, and the diagnosis, and then just merge it into one.
I think that when someone gets called an addict, though, it's like feels like an attack.
Oh yeah.
Personal attack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people.
Yeah.
I'm fucking not that.
Yeah.
I'm not that.
Well, the connotations.
That's why you have to call yourself it first.
Yeah.
Because then if I've called myself it, and then someone said it was like
Loses
the first
its
time my
power.
uncle was like, I think Alex, your son, like you're an addict, and I was like, who the fuck are you talking about? I was like, look, you're out of shape. I was like, you know what I mean? But you drink pints all the time. But obviously, I was once I was aware that I was like, it wouldn't offend us now because I'm saying it. No one else can decide for me.
Takes the
Do you know
power
what I mean?
away. Yeah.
The fact that you were in such good shape and like that was your release probably like took you on longer. You know what I mean?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
definitely, man.
Like he would.
He was running fucking ultra marathons whilst doing a night on the fucking beak. Who does that?
I'd come in the next morning, man, and like he'd be in the sauna. He's like, I'm getting the bad out. Had a bad night last night. This is the good that I'm going to do, and it would be like, just do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if he wasn't someone who kept himself in such good shape, it probably would have came to a head a lot earlier, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I bet.
Aye. It was pretty terrible, but
What?
but yeah, we are.
Well, nah, mate. Honestly, you guys are wicked. Conor, what would your advice be to someone who is maybe coming out of a career, or if they are coming off the back of some professional sports and looking to rebuild and do something successful? What would your key bits of advice be? Alex, I'm gonna ask you a question afterwards.
Start early. Utilise any professional footballer gets access to PFA. Probably the best uni you'll ever find in your life. Sort you out in there. Like anything's a problem. After I haven't played, I've been part of it for X amount of years, but I could ring them up more and be like, I want to do this, and well, go and pay for it. Once you've done it, we'll give you half the funding. Or it could be rehab, or it could be like get it done early. Like, reach out to them kind of places that can help you out, because it's better than coming to the end of your career. And that might be through injury very quickly. That could be through whatever it is. It's a daunting place not having something to fall back on. Lucky that I kind of fell into what I'm doing now. Because if not, it wouldn't have been I didn't enjoy what I was doing. I went from football to trying to sell commercial gas and electricity and meters. I try and plan that out early, I'd say, personally.
I love that. Alex, what would you say is, if you had to break down some of the key components to creating consistency and being successful in your day, what would you say are some of the key non-negotiables for you?
Just try and do the things you know you should be doing, like regardless how you feel. Like if you have a goal and you want to achieve that, then you're gonna have to break it down into steps. And you know certain things are gonna are gonna have to get done, and you're gonna have days where you don't feel like doing it. But on the way to achieving that goal is where you feel the most positive emotion. So don't get caught up in the fucking feelings that you're gonna have. It's not a straight line to achieve it either. It's gonna be a lot of ups and downs. I've had loads of downs, but the most important thing is you just don't kind of give up and you just keep going. Kind of
try and enjoy the journey as well.
Enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Ask people who are in a better position than you or where you want to be for advice. Don't be scared to be like put your ego to the side and just be a beginner and just work extremely hard until it's accomplished.
Love it. Cheers, lads.
No limits as well.
Yeah, that is a good point, guys. On that note, if you are looking for a gym to go to, I couldn't recommend No Limits more highly. They've definitely changed my life, and they do it with a lot of other people. So get yourself down there. Cheers, lads.
Cheers,
Great
lads.
gym, great people.